You can wipe anything off your credit report using these 10 laws, just like this, this, and this. Once you understand how to use these laws, you're gonna be able to knock the credit bureaus out. And I'm gonna walk you through the whole entire process of what you need to do. So grab a pen, get some paper, get something to drink, sit back and relax, because we about to get straight into it. Here's what we gotta do. We have to get a report, all right? Get a credit report. Now, if you don't have a credit report, you can go ahead and get one from Identity IQ. Now, once you have your report, this is key, all right? We wanna see all the negative accounts that's holding our credit score back, whether that's a charge-off, bankruptcy, eviction, student loan with late payments, child support, it doesn't matter. Any account that's holding your credit score back, you want to identify all those negative accounts, all right? Now, once we identify all the negative accounts, what you also going to see when you look at it, you're going to see a lot of information. You're going to see a lot of stuff that's going to be inconsistent that looks similar to this, all right? You're going to see the open date that's inconsistent, date last active, date last reporting. Not only on just the negative accounts, you also going to see that with the open accounts, but we're not focusing on the open accounts that are positive. We're focusing on the negative accounts, all right? So once we identify all the negative accounts that's holding your credit score back, now what you want to do is go ahead and create a letter, all right? Now we're going to go ahead and create this letter based off of the laws that they violated, all right? And I'm going to show you how to create this letter. Here's how you're going to create your letter. You're going to have your first name, last name, of course, your address, today's current date, to whom it concerns. All right. I just got my credit report, and some accounts on my credit report are incomplete and inaccurate, which is a violation of 15 USC 1681 EB. All right. I'm gonna break down these laws a little bit later, but we're just talking about this letter right now. All right. You also violated 15 USC 1681-2A and B, 15 USC 1681 5A1 and 2. All right. Any person who fails to comply and fix this matter will be held liable under 15 USC 1681 N, which is a civil liability for willful non-compliance. All right. And you just got to get aggressive sometimes, because you already know credit bureaus like to play crazy. Now what we want to do is list all the negative accounts on this letter, all right? So list all the accounts. So name and account number, all right? So the account number, like I said, it could be 1234 XXX or asterisk. It don't have to have all the account numbers on there, all right? Just have the name and a few account numbers, and that's okay, all right? Now, delete this account immediately because of violation of 15 USC 1681. I'm just listing off all the laws, all right? So you want to document all the laws that they violate. And then there are other laws, like I said, that I'm going to talk about, but this is just for this specific scenario. So based off of this scenario, we're going to use these specific laws. And I'm going to talk about a different type of scenario based off of some other laws that you can use to get these accounts removed. But typically this happens for most people. But of course, there are other laws that you can use to get accounts removed. Now, once you have all, this is just an example. I only have 4 accounts, right? But you can list off all your negative accounts, whether that's 5, 6, 7, 10 of them, 12, it doesn't matter, all right? Now, once you have deleted the accounts from my credit report, please send me a copy of my updated report, all right? Now, once we have that, next what we want to do is save this letter for our records, all right? You want to save this letter for your records, and I'm going to show you how to use this letter as leverage to get these accounts deleted from your credit report, all right? Now, once you have the letter, now let's go over these specific laws that I was talking about and the other laws that typically that they violate, all right? So 15 USC 1681 EB, 15 USC 1681 I5A1, 15 USC 1681 5A2, 15 USC 1681 7, 15 USC 1681 B, 15 USC 1681 5AB, 15 USC 1681 5B, 15 USC 1681B, 15 USC 1681N. And you kind of saw that one already, but let's go over some of these laws. Let me break down how you can leverage them so we can, you already know, knock the credit bureaus out. So let's go over this first law, 15 USC 1681 EB. So 15 USC 1681 EB, all right, accuracy of report. When a consumer reporting agency prepares a consumer report, it shall follow reasonable procedures to ensure maximum possible accuracy of the information concerning the individual about whom the report relates. Serious question. When you looked at your report, do you feel like the credit bureaus follow reasonable procedure to ensure maximum possible accuracy. Just look. Man, they playing with us. They really playing with us. Just look at these reports and how they're inconsistent. This is why this is a violation of 15 USC 1681 EB. Now, let's go to 15 USC 1681 I5, all right? Now, all you have to do is just go click on subchapter. Just follow along with me, all right? Or you can go back. I'll have these links for you, but you just go back and look at them. But 15 USC 1681 I5, all you have to do is look down from the letter I and then go down here, and then you go all the way down to, you can also read over the other laws as well. That's what I do on my spare time. But you want to go down to number 5, all right? So treatment of inaccurate or unverifiable information. I'm pretty sure that you all probably sent out a letter already. And the credit bureaus are supposed to update, modify, and do a lot of things. But typically they don't. They don't do nothing. All right. They said everything is updated and modified, everything is complete and accurate, but really it's not. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. You can go ahead and read this law. If after any reinvestigation under paragraph 1 of information disputed by a consumer, an item of the information is found to be inaccurate or complete or cannot be verified, the consumer reporting agency shall, right? And this is key word, promptly delete that information from the file of the consumer or modify that information as appropriate based on the results of their reinvestigation. And as you can see, you look at your report, they didn't update, they didn't modify, they didn't do nothing. All right. And that's another violation of 15 USC 60. They are not compliant. And we're going to talk about that law in a second. But number 2, promptly notify the furnisher of that information that the information has been modified or deleted from the file. And they ain't do none of that. They didn't modify. They don't, like I said, man, they just playing, blatantly disrespecting our rights. You see what I'm saying? They just don't care. I want you to look at this video really quick. Here's what I'm talking about.
For people like Judy Thomas to get their problem solved. So all these people who take the time to meticulously document a case that the bill isn't theirs or the bill has been paid, that is never seen by anybody. It's not seen by anyone who considers it in determining whether or not information will be removed from a credit report. It's not forwarded on to the person who has the complaint with you. No, it is never forwarded on. Never forwarded on to the creditor.
There's another law, all right? 15 USC 1681 I57. So all we got to do is go down to number 7. And once you're down to number 7, here's what you want to do. A consumer reporting agency shall provide to a consumer a description referred to paragraph SB3 by no later than 15 days after receiving a request from the consumer for that description. All right. Now let's go to that 6B3. All right. So 6 is right here, and then B, and then number 3. All right. So here's number 3. A notice that if requested by the consumer, a description of the procedure used to determine the accuracy and the completeness of the information shall be provided to the consumer by the agency, including the business name and address of the furnisher of the information contacted in connection with such information and a telephone of such furniture if reasonably available. All right. So how can you leverage that law? You should already have sent the letter out. If you haven't sent the letter out before, typically when you send the letter out, the credit bureau say everything is complete and accurate. And what you ask for them to do is provide you a description of how they check the completeness and accuracy of those specific account. And they're supposed to provide you that within 15 days. But typically they don't. So that's how you can leverage that law and get those accounts deleted from your credit report. All right. Now, if you haven't sent the letter out before, don't use that law. But if you have sent that letter out before, use that law so you already know not the credit bureaus out. And I'm going to show you how to use that law when I show you how to write up this CFPB complaint so we can get these things deleted from your credit report. All right. Another law that we could use, right? And this is we don't have to use this law because this is more for hard inquiries. All right. And I'm going to have a video pinned in the description on how you can leverage this law to remove your hard inquiries. But of course, I had to put it in here because I know everybody has hard inquiries. And I have a specific video showing you how to use that specific law on how to get those hard inquiries off your credit report. All right. But 15 USC 1681B is permissible purpose. You can go over it and read it, but that's what that law is for. All right. Now let's go to 15 USC 1681B1, 15 USC 1681B1 and 2. All right. Let's talk about those specific laws. So all you have to do now is just go down to number 5. I think we was on number 6. So just go down to or scroll up to number 5 and let's look of what these specific laws and how to use them. So 15 USC 1681B. Now, typically, you want to use this law when this happens. All right. Requirements related to reinsertion of previously deleted accounts. All right. So when you have accounts that fall off your credit report, sometimes, guess what? The credit bureaus or whatever, they put them back on your credit report. However, there's a specific procedure that they're supposed to do to put them back on your credit report. And you could talk about these laws and how you can leverage them if you got an account removed from your credit report and it came back on here. All right. So here's the specific law because a lot of people have a lot of information, but nobody really talks about the laws. So let's talk about the laws and you can read it for yourself. But most importantly, if any information is deleted from a consumer file pursuant to subparagraph A, the information may not be reinserted in the file by the consumer report agency unless the person who furnished the information certifies that the information is complete and accurate. Now, I don't know what the word to them means certified, but I'm pretty sure if you look at that specific account, I'm pretty sure it's incomplete and inaccurate. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Now, the second one, if any information that has been deleted from a consumer's file pursuant to subparagraph A is reinserted in the file, the consumer agency shall notify the consumer of the reinsertion in written no later than 5 business days after the reinsertion, or if unauthorized by the consumer for the purposes by any other means available to the agency. All right. Now, like I said, there is procedure that they have to follow, and this is the procedure as part of, and is basically all this, and we can break that down. But that's another video for another time. I don't want to break down the whole procedure, but they have to follow a specific procedure as well. So, like I was saying before, if you got an account removed from your credit report and it reappears on your credit report, just look to see if it's complete and accurate and look at that specific law to see if they follow that specific procedure. Because if they didn't, it's a violation, all right? And we're going to just use that as leverage to, you already know, knock the credit bureaus out, all right? So just read the specific procedure, and I'm pretty sure they didn't follow it, all right? What you need to do is go to 15 USC 1681 N, all right? We're going to go to that specific law, all right? So just scroll all the way up to the top. If you follow along with me, just scroll all the way up to the top, and it's going to go to subchapter 3, and we just want to scroll down all the way to end. Now, if you have your quote unquote FCRE Bible, you just go to this one specific right here. So we don't go all the way down to letter N. Civil liability for willful non-compliance. All right. So this specific law, any person who willfully fails to comply with any requirement imposed under the subchapters with respect to any consumer is liable to that the consumer in amount equal to the sum of. And as you can read down these specific on how much they owe. All right. So that's the specific laws that you're going to use to be able to knock the credit bureaus out.